Hey, Rainbow here, and look what I have here. Oh, awesome, awesome, awesome. This is the Triumph Tiger 1200 GT. It's kind of the base model, and I'm going to apologize in advance because I normally come to this location on a Saturday when everything is shut down. Unfortunately, today is a Friday. This is the only time I can do this because I have a big job on Saturday. And we're going to go ahead and review this absolutely gorgeous motorcycle that I just have a little bit of time on, but we're going to take it for a ride and we're going to assess this bike together. And again, I apologize for the noise in the background, but hopefully it will just be temporary till we get up on the motorcycle. Now, like I said, this is the 2023 Triumph Tiger 1200 GT. It is in Snowbird White. There are actually 5 versions of this bike, and it would be the Tiger 1200, which you see, the 1200 GT Pro, and the 1200 GT Explorer. And I think the Explorer is more along the lines of what would want to compete with the GS Adventure. There's also a Rally Pro and a Rally Explorer, and those are the ones that will have the big old 21-inch front wheels because it's really made for more of the adventure off-road. Now, here we go. This base model starts out at about $19,100 in the United States. It is a liquid-cooled 12-valve, 1,160cc inline triple, but since it has a firing order of a 132, it kind of gives it a bit of a different feel. It gives it a bit of a different sound, and I kind of like it. Even with stock exhaust, I think it sounds great. Now, this thing will pump out about 148 brake horsepower at 9,000 RPM. I think it redlines about 9,500, and 130 Newton meters of torque at 7,000 RPM. Some pretty darn good numbers there. Now, one of the big factors with this bike, major factors with this bike, and why it's here to compete really with the BMW GS is right here. You are looking at a shaft drive motorcycle. Now, when you have a shaft drive motorcycle, you are going to give up a little bit of horsepower, but not a ton, and I think for the longevity of the bike and for ease of maintenance, I certainly like a shaft drive. I don't have that on the current Ducati Multistrada V4S, but you know what? These are different bikes. This has a hydraulic wet clutch. It has a 6-speed transmission. Now, we have a 19-inch on the front, and we have a 18-inch wheel on the rear, and they both have cast aluminum wheels. This has a show-off semi-active 49mm forks in the front, and you can see the semi-active right there. Can't argue with that. And on the rear, it also has a semi-active monoshock that's kind of hidden in there, a little bit harder to see, but we can talk about that a little bit later once we see. Now, that monoshock is supposed to have about 7.87 inches of travel, which is pretty significant. All right, this has Brembo brakes on the front and rear. And this also has a nice 7-inch TFT. It's actually a really nice TFT. I do like it. It is full color. It does look great. Now, this seat is adjustable from 33, almost 33.5 inches. It's 33.46 to 34.52, and it feels really comfortable, but we'll get into that more when I'm riding it. It has a 61.41 inch wheelbase and has a 5.28 US gallons, or about 20 liters, on this aluminum gas tank. The wet weight of this bike, 529 pounds wet weight, and I will tell you, it just feels lighter than that, and I'm just being totally honest about that. You're going to get this bike serviced at 10,000 miles or 12 months, whichever one comes first. Now, you can get a center stand as an option. You can get cruise control as an option for this GT model. You can get shift assist with this model if you want. You can get tire pressure monitoring, you can get heated grips, heated seats, you can get all of that stuff if you choose. As you can see, there's no quick shift on this particular one. And this has all LED lights, but of course I think that's becoming industry standard right now. So all of your lights on here, whether they're the turn signals and these larger United States ones, definitely larger than what we get in that we see in Europe. But it's a great looking bike. It does come with ABS traction control and 3 riding modes. Now those 3 riding modes are rain, road, and sport. And to be quite honest with you, since this is not an adventure bike, really the 3 modes is all you need. Like literally just 3 modes and nothing more than that. So rain, road, and sport. But more importantly, let's take this thing for a ride. Let's see what it feels like, see what it sounds like, and take it from there. And away we go. All right, let's do our thing. All right, the very first thing that I mentioned before that I have discovered about this bike is that it feels very light and very nimble. You really don't know that you are on a motorcycle that has a 19-inch front wheel and an 18 on the back. That's the part that you kind of don't understand, because it feels very lightweight and very nimble for having larger tires like that. It's not like there are 2 17-inch tires or a 17 and a 19 in the front like the Multistrada, but this just feels like such a lightweight bike. This is probably the thing that's blowing me away the most about this, is that this bike, it just feels light. It's just so well balanced, and I'm really liking it a lot. I'm liking it so much that I might be liking it so far, come on dude, a little bit more, woo, that's close, than even the Multistrada V2. I mean, this just really feels good. Now also the gearing feels a little bit longer in the gears. It seems like I can get a little bit more out of first gear before I have to shift. It's not as tight and short. All right, so let's take her for a spin. Now obviously there's not a quick shifter. There is a bit of vibration here. I gotta tell you that it is, you can definitely feel the vibration in this a lot more than a lot of the other bikes. It's not horrible, but it is definitely noticeable with the vibration. But the vibration seems relatively light. Now at these slower speeds, I'm 5th gear doing 52 miles an hour. It's really not bad. But that's one of the first things that I did pick up on, was the vibration. All right, now seating position, very comfortable. As far as the seat height, I feel as though it's, you feel a little bit more comfortable than like I do on the Multistrada V4S, and everybody's going, oh, you're always comparing everything to the Multistrada V4S. Yes, absolutely, because that's the bike that I ride every single day. Okay, now I am sitting here in sport mode. I'm standing here and I am flat-footed.
on both sides, and I have a 32-inch inseam, so that's where I'm at with this. I have a 32-inch inseam. I'm flat footing on this bike on both sides, but so far very comfortable seating position. I like where the handlebars are. It pulls you forward slightly, but you can also slide back and forth on the seat a little bit. You have a little bit of room for that, but also not much room. Now, torque wise, it has a good amount of torque. It seems like it's good in the lower RPM range, so I'm going to do a little testing up here at the next light. I don't know how loud this is. What I can tell you is I'm using an AGV K6 helmet. It's really one of my favorite helmets solely because it's really one of the lightest helmets that you can buy, and that's just easier on my neck. So I'm a fan of this. Oh, well, I was only able to downshift without the without the clutch, only on one gear. I lucked out. Anyway, so this is not a quick shifter, and I don't know where I was going with before I got to this light, but the gearing feels really good. It's not really clunking into place. If you've ever rode a Harley Davidson, you know, when you sometimes you clink in the first gear and it just seems like you're just an industrial machine is clinking in, and sometimes you get that feeling even with the multi-strada. This one, it just seems really easy to shift and very comfortable. But right now I'm kind of digging this. Now I want you to look at something. Just like Ducati has, very simple, very easy. In fact, I don't even need to pinch anything. I can just use one finger all the way up and all the way down, and we'll test this wind protection in a little bit when we get on the highway. Oh man, this has some get up and go. Wow, Triumph, you did a nice job on this bike, and again, I'm really liking your gearing. I have such short gears on the multi-strada, and this thing just feels really good. You have some get up and go, you have some punch. I mean, I am enjoying this significantly more than when I rode the Speed Triple. This is just such a comfortable bike, and I don't want to sound like I'm beating a dead horse here, but it just feels so lightweight and so lively. Like, I am really enjoying riding this bike. Now I'm going to take it up on the highway. I'm going to pull the windscreen up, see how that feels, see how much speed we can get and how comfortable I could with the vibration on the highway. But let's give it a whirl. This feels great. So this is the base model. This one does not have heated grips. You can get it. But this feels great. Now, I really can't wait to get up there on the highway to see what it's going to feel like in traffic, going a little bit faster. Wind protection is pretty good, not great. You can really feel it on the shoulders, which helps you to cool off, but if it was cold out, it would definitely make me cold, and I would absolutely want heated grips. In fact, any bike that I get, I would want heated grips. And some of you might go, well, you're in Florida, it's always hot. Well, it's not always hot. Some of our winters, it gets down a little chilly, and because your body is climatized to the heat, when it does get cooler, I get colder than when I did when I lived up in north, you know, when I was in freezing weather all the time. Let's see how the downshift feels. Beautiful. So yeah, the wind protection is pretty good. I really can't complain about it, other than it's on the narrow side. Of course you want to get over, don't you? Of course you want to get over. Yeah, you people. So wind protection was good. The suspension seems very good, and it's semi-adjustable. I made no adjustments. This is straight out of the factory. Nothing changed here, nothing different. When I did a review of the Tiger 900 Rally Pro, which there's a somewhere here, you're gonna see no, I think it'll be up here. I'll put a little link to that. I got lambasted because I didn't care for the bike, and I really didn't. And you know, it was the first Triumph that I reviewed that I was like, eh. But in this particular case, this bike, since it's really made more for the road, and it's a higher quality bike, you know, I mean, it is the 1200 GT versus a 900 Rally Pro. It feels literally like night and day. You know, my thoughts on that 900 Rally Pro were that it was really made more for as like an enduro, maybe more off-road, whereas this, you know, we already have a significantly better suspension that's also semi-adjustable. If you can see here, it feels more stable. Even look at the rebound. Like, I'm really pushing hard, and the rebound on here is great. It's very stable. It feels a little soft, but again, it's all adjustable. Take a bit of a different road this time. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the low end torque. I'm gonna let this out nice and easy, 2000 RPM. All right, first gear. Feels good. It feels good. Again, we got a little bit of that vibration. It is a 333, and it is a 500 and some pound bike, but it really feels good. And that vibration that I'm whining about a little bit is it's a light vibration. It's not one that's gonna take you to the cleaners. So since this is a shaft drive and it is not a Ducati Multistrada V4, you know, I can tell the difference in the power delivery. They're both very good at the low end. This one has really smooth delivery. It's very linear, in my opinion. But they're both excellent choices. I have to tell you, for being a base model of 19,100, this is a really good bike. This is probably the best experience that I've had on a Triumph, other than maybe the Rocket, because the Rocket was just so much fun and so smooth and so powerful and so much torque. But when I look at everything else that I've been on for Triumph, this 900 I'm sorry, this 1200 has been very nice. I mean, this is really a great bike. Let me see the... Yeah, I mean, for this type of bike, it is pretty darn nimble. I've been on absolutely more nimble bikes. We all have been. And that's fourth gear. I actually need less wind protection because it's getting so much hotter out here, like crazy hot, and now I have too much wind protection. But I'm also not on the highway. If I was on the highway, I'd be fine, but if you're not going to be on the highway, I'm just putting this all the way down. All right, let's take her back. I really experienced enough just for this quick little cursory review. And again, I'm just going to remind everyone, when I do these reviews, I have this bike for maybe an hour or two at the most. You know, it's not like I get to take the bike home and live with it every day and experience it and give you that long-term review. That's not the case. This is just, how does the bike feel? How nimble is it? How does the steering input feel? How does the torque feel? How does the seating position? How comfortable is it? And let's just go back to comfort one more time. This is definitely a bike you can take on a nice long distance ride. This is, okay, this is really a surprise to me. I didn't know that I was going to like this bike as much as I do. Now, why they have 5 different models to choose from, I'm kind of surprised at that. You know, I thought maybe they would have just maybe 2 versions that you can customize, maybe a third being the you know, the more the touring model, whatever they call it, I don't even remember, with the larger gas tank. But this, for being the base model, is just a lot of fun and so lightweight. I'm very excited about this bike. I think if I would have test rode this when I was in the market, I'd be like, you know what, I think I'll take that one. Let me throw the heated grips on, maybe a center stand and some other things. But oh my goodness, even my rear view mirrors, I like. They're not vibrating the hell out of them. I mean, everything looks really good, and it just seems like it's a really well-made, very solid bike. I give this one a double thumbs up. This Tiger 1200 GT, it absolutely gets the rainbow thumbs up. This gets the rainbow seal of approval, if there is such a thing. Like, I think I'm somebody. But I'm just another guy like all of you. I'm just another rider who just has their opinion on a lot of things based on experience. And this bike is a lot of fun. Let me test out the rear brake coming up here. Let me see how the ABS feels. Well, it's letting me skid a little bit, but it's kicking in. It's not as aggressive as I thought it was going to be. I was laying a little bit of rubber, but the ABS was certainly kicking in. It was not as aggressive as I'm used to on other bikes when you really hammer down hard on that rear brake. This one seems to let you skid a little bit, but yet keep you straight. Yeah, I'll go for it. I hit the bumps. I could lose it on the bumps. Oh, that was a bad shift. Kind of an emergency stop up here, see how it feels. Ooh, wow, great job. I'll tell you, this ABS is set up rather nicely because it's not overly aggressive, but yet it keeps you nice and straight. Let's do one more harsh stop here, See how this ABS feels on a straightaway here, where I'm not going to risk hitting somebody. Ooh. Wow, that is a good ABS. It's almost not noticeable, to be quite honest with you. And I keep saying, to be quite honest with you, too much, and I don't like that. But with traction control and ABS, I'll tell you what, it definitely feels like a safer bike. And I'm really enjoying this experience on this bike. This was quite the surprise. All right, wow. Okay, so as usual, I gotta tell you, I am beyond thankful to Two Wheels World, and specifically Ian from Two Wheels World here, Triumph Motorcycles. They have Ducati. Ian is the man. He's the one who allows me, along with the owner, to ride these bikes and test ride them. And I have to tell you, this Triumph Tiger 1200 GT absolutely did not in any way disappoint at all here. This has been one hell of an experience. Wow, great bike. So if you come down here to Fort Lauderdale area, this is actually in Pompano, come down to ask for Ian. He will help you out. He will hook you up. He's a really honest guy, and I really want to thank them for allowing me to come in here and ride these bikes. All right, please like, please subscribe. This is Rainbow. Thank you, and have a great day.